Welcome in, everyone, to a Tuesday night edition, a special Halloween edition of the show. Joe Quill's here with you. Got that itch there? What up, everyone? Halloween, and I can't take this anymore. Had to do that. Anyways, welcome in. Joe Quill's here with you. The stupid shit that I do for you guys. And there I go cursing. So if you had 921 on your calendars, on your pools tonight, you're a lucky winner. And got a fun show here tonight as we have a little issue here. Anyways, got some things to talk about here tonight, and we'll see how long this goes. I don't think it'll be a long show tonight. Didn't have to give any candy out. Haven't had to give candy out for the 6 years I've been at this apartment. Thank God. Um, but the one thing I will say is before we start is, and let me see if I can find it here first because I just shared it. Why didn't I think of this? Here you go. Hey kids, don't care how much candy you take, but if you got a hot single mom, leave her number. Love, your future dad. Oh God, the things that people post on here. And you know, I've got a couple of things to talk about here tonight, and it is Halloween. I'm wearing my Eat Me shirt, my candy corn shirt, and I got a couple of NFL stories here for you tonight as I plug myself back in here. My headphones got disconnected already. Um, got some Breeders' Cup updates, little things here and there. Didn't get to review everything like I had hoped. Um, if I could tell you some of the stories I could tell right now, I'd probably be disowned. But anyways, hope everybody's having a better week than me. And let's get to it here on this Tuesday night, October the 31st. Before you know it, it'll be November rain season. Lots of Guns N' Roses being played, at least in my world. So, anyways, let's get to it here tonight. Let's begin with the big news that I woke up to this morning, and it was a treat for the Sixers and a trick for the LA Clippers, as James Hardin is no longer a Sixer. Yay. James Hardin was traded overnight to the LA Clippers as he wanted. Personally, I would have dumped his ass to Portland or whatever. But, Daryl Morey did him a solid. Sent him to the team he wanted, which was the LA Clippers. Why the Clippers? I have no idea. I mean, maybe he's delusional in thinking that he can win a championship there. You're not going to win a championship any team that you're on. But anyways, he got traded today, and mainly the reason why this is because of salary cap. And I wish I saw the person who posted about the salary cap exception, because the three people in the Sixers trade amounted to $46 million. And for the Clippers, the four guys coming back to the Sixers make 42 this year. Because remember, the NBA, you got to have everything within a certain percentage of each other. So it's all part of the salary cap. And, I'm not really that far into, I don't know their collective bargaining agreement too well, but they do have things like that where you got to balance out the salaries the best that you can. So going to the Clippers with James Hardin is PJ Tucker, good riddance, and Philippe Petrusev. And if I didn't have the baseball game here on the side here, I would drop a who the F is that guy? In return, they are getting Marcus Morris, who plays high school ball here in Philadelphia, Robert Covington, a former Sixer, Nick Batum, and KJ Martin. Also, a 2028 unprotected first round pick, which is interesting. 2 second round picks, a 2029 pick swap, and an additional first round pick from the Oklahoma City Thunder. So Sixers made out like bandits because not only do you have not only do you get 4 guys here. Now, granted, they're not, like I said before, when this all started, you know, I don't see anything that's worth grabbing. But, you know, you do get warm bodies. And, you know, Covington was an okay player here the first time around. Marcus Morris, he's probably at the back end of his career. Um, it is what it is. And, even whether Hardin went to the Clippers or was stuck here and actually had to play, he just did not. He just did not. He just did not fit into. You had to get the cancer out, and I'm surprised it took. It didn't. It took until Halloween. I was figuring it would be Christmas, New Year's, Martin Luther King Day, whatever the trade deadline is in the NBA. I was expecting that, but instead, you do get a trade there, and we'll see what the Sixers can do here. I'm not high on the Sixers, and I'm not a guy that's going to talk X's and O's. I'm going to talk more about gut feeling about different things, and prove me wrong, Sixers, but I don't even see the Sixers making the playoffs. Now, whether missing the playoffs is totally missing the play-in tournament, which is bogus stuff anyway. Personally, I think if you're in the play-in tournament, you're technically in the playoffs. So, let's drop them from the lottery thing. But, whether it's in the lottery, even if they're in the tournament, I don't see them in the tournament. I don't see them in the postseason. I just have that gut feeling, and I get the gut feeling that Joel Embiid's going to win out of this town, and it's not about the city. It's not about this. It's not about that. I just think that he wants to win, and the window has been closing in Philadelphia, and it might be shut. But no matter what it is, you got to do what's best for Joel. And I wouldn't want to trade him to the Knicks because guess what? He's going to be a pain in your ass for about 5 more years, having to play against him 3, 4, 5 times, however many times division foes face each other. I think it's 4. And if I didn't have the game on right now, I would have dropped a 4 on you. But also, you do have a great opportunity here to get some salary cap space next offseason because you have a bunch of expiring contracts there. So that's a good thing. So, maybe you make a deal to send Embiid somewhere. Preferably, I would rather see him out west, only because then he could only hurt you in the NBA Finals, and the Sixers aren't going to the Finals anytime soon. Now, granted, when the Sixers go red hot and end up in the playoffs and make a run toward the Eastern Conference Final, which they couldn't do under Doc Rivers, they couldn't do it under Brown, that guy. Whatever it is, you're gonna have to do something, and I just don't see it happening, and hopefully this is about 24-25 and not about 23-24. So, Daryl Morey did his job. He got rid of James Hardin, and at least now we won't have any drama The key date for the Sixers. Yeah, so next summer the Sixers are going to have as much as 50 to 65 million in salary cap space. Now, the Clippers do have Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Russell Westbrook, all on the Clippers. Good luck. Good luck introducing a second ball into the game because they all want their shots. I was looking to see when the Clippers come here, and why do I get the feeling it's going to be very convenient that James Hardin will be load managing or injured. March 24th, the Sixers are in LA. And they're back here on the 27th, which is an ESPN game. And with the rules that they have in play now, with the new rule that they passed about stop the load management issues that they're having, it's possible that James Harden will be forced to play, and I hope. I mean, I wish that the Clippers and the Sixers were playing earlier in the year, like maybe in a couple of weeks, even though that would mean having to play that, you know, having to break up the tournament a little bit, which I think is a bunch of crap. You know, let the fans hear, let him hear what the fans think of him after wanting out of here the way that he did. Now, there's a right way to request a trade. There's a wrong way to request a trade. Being quiet about it, being respectful of the franchise, being respectful of your team. That's what you do. That's what I hope Joel Embiid does in a couple of months, if he does it. Now, um, what Harden did, basically burning every bridge there was. No, you're going. But um, I'm just so glad it's over. I'm surprised it only took until Halloween. I was expecting January, and if it was going to be to some loser franchise. But they fit him under the cap somehow, and we'll see what they do. We'll see what both teams do here because I have no high expectations for the Sixers this year, and I don't know what to expect from the Clippers. So we'll see what happens with that. But that that issue is no longer a Sixer issue. It's now a Clippers issue. I had to turn that extra light on here. So that is the NBA for now. Sixers are 2-1 the early going. They lost by 1 in Milwaukee. They won in Toronto. And Sunday they won their home opener by 28 over Portland. Portland, they're going to be tanking this year, so they're in rebuild mode here. So Toronto comes here next week, so we'll see what happens with the Sixers and the NBA over the next couple of weeks. All right, so let's get to the NFL. There was a couple of trades today. Montez Sweat from the Commanders was traded to the Bears for a second-round pick. Expiring contract. Great move by the Commanders. They're obviously not looking. They're obviously not going to win this year. They're not going to contend this year. And you get that pick that turns out to be that area that I was hoping for with the Eagles a couple years ago. Remember the trade for Carson Wentz? Um, I said when he got injured but didn't miss too much time. Um, I said, well, if he doesn't meet that criterion of 70, 75%, whatever the criterion was, if he doesn't meet that and it drops to a second pick, hope they lose, because if they lose, those first few picks in the second round are almost as good as a first round pick. And, Will Levis, who's going to be starting for Tennessee on Thursday, he was early second round pick this past all season. So, you know, maybe Washington gets lucky and that second round pick is high enough up. Um, but we'll see with that. The only thing is, if Washington tanks, they're going to be hurting their chances, because when they move up, they're going to be jumping ahead of, well, depends if they have a second round pick. I don't know who has what in terms of draft picks overall, um, but it's a good move for them, because now um, it'll be an early second round pick for Washington, and for an expiring contract. So good for them on that. Um, Ryan Poles, the general manager of Bears, said Montez is a huge addition to our team. Not only is he a great player, but a great person. We expect him to elevate our defense. Last year of his contract, um, they're opting for a draft pick now rather than compensatory selection, which is usually about third, fourth, fifth round area. Um, so right now, if the season ended today, that ever so crazy phrase, if the season ended today, the Bears pick would be number 35 overall in the second round, which would be the third pick. So that pick will be going to Washington. So um, Washington should hope that Chicago keeps losing, because if you stay in that range, it's going to be the equivalent of a late first rounder. Those first couple of picks, which are the second night of the draft, the beginning of the second night, 7 o'clock Eastern. Um, that's a good move for them. Um, let's see here. Um, the Lions traded for Cleveland wideout Donovan Peoples-Jones. Um, um, that's for a 2025 six-round pick. Peoples-Jones goes home to Detroit. They're adding depth to um, their wide receiver core, as Marvin Jones Jr. recently stepped away to take care of personal family matters. Peoples-Jones is only 24 years old, so he's got a career ahead of him. But he only has 8 receptions for 97 yards, and you know we saw what their offense did last night on Monday Night Football, and I did give out Cleveland last on Thursday night. The picks overall weren't great, but I did give you a couple winners to end on the pro side. Football, forget. College, forget it. That was a disaster. But um, but um, that should be a good move for them, for the Lions now and later for Cleveland. Um, the Buffalo Bills acquired Rasul Douglas in a trade with the Packers. Um, the Bills sent a 2024 third round pick to the Packers for Douglas and a 2024 fifth round pick. Um, Douglas had become more and more frustrated with the team this year after the 2-5 start. Um, Douglas said after Sunday's loss, we're saying S, but until we actually do the S, it really doesn't matter. I'm thinking about it like, bro, I've never been a loser in my life. These last 2 years have been effing loser. That S ain't me. I don't think that S is us. We got to do something. You know what I mean? Um, so that's a good move there. So we'll see what happens here, and I'm interested in seeing how that works with how that all works out because uh, because everybody wants to see Damar Hamlin do well, especially coming back after that episode he had in Cincinnati. And by the way, the Buffalo Bills are in Cincinnati this weekend. That's probably the only reason why the Eagles Dallas game is not on NBC. I mean, the second game is for the Eagles and Cowboys, but rightfully so. And that'll be an emotional game, especially for Damar Hamlin, even if he doesn't play, because he gets to go back to Cincinnati with with what happened and the the um, the doctors that saved his life, and that'll be. I'm interested in seeing what happens with Damar Hamlin with that move that was made. Um, so we got that, and I closed that tab accidentally. Um, um, Now, this affected my one fantasy team, but it actually helps me because now I don't have an issue with trying to find a quarterback in week 13 on my one team because Kirk Cousins blew out his Achilles at Lambeau this past weekend. And of course, the Players Association isn't saying anything about Kirk Cousins blowing out his Achilles on the surface at Lambeau Field, the not quite frozen tundra as of last week. I think it's starting to freeze up a little bit because I did see there was a couple of snow-ish games this week in the MAC tonight. There was snow on the field at Toledo. There was snow on the field at Central Michigan. It wasn't snowing during the game, but there's still some residual snow on the ground there, at least when I tuned in earlier. So, um, but um, but the Vikings did trade for Joshua Dobbs, who had been Arizona's starter. Um, Minnesota does have a quarterback on the IR before Kirk Cousins went down. Nick Mullins, who was originally with the San Francisco 49ers, he's also in the IR. So it looks like right now Jaron Hall's going to get the start. And I think over time, it's possible that Joshua Dobbs could take over once he learns the playbook. Um, but, that was a move that was necessitated by Kirk Cousins blowing out his Achilles on Sunday's game. And, I mean, I don't wish those injuries on anybody. I don't care. I don't care if it's the Dallas Cowboy that I hate the most. I don't care if it's I don't know, whatever player I hate the most. I don't care if it's James Hardin. You know, I'm not going to wish injury on him. I may tell you with James Hardin to boo the living crap out of him if you're at that game. But when it comes to something like this, I don't wish this type of injury on anybody. Now, it seems a little funny that, Aaron Rodgers is trying to come back in like 3 months when, you know, it takes 6 months to get into normal life again. Uh, but, I don't wish this on anybody. But, um, so, um, The Vikings traded a conditional seventh round pick in the 2024 draft for a 2024 sixth round pick. The conditional pick can become a sixth round selection based on Dobbs' playing time. Um, Now, this may be why Josh Dobbs was demoted in Arizona before he got traded. Um, um, Nick Mullins has a back ailment. The only quarterback in the building is Sean Mannion, who was added to the practice squad when Mullins was injured. Um, but Kyler Murray is going to be back soon for Arizona, and that made one of the quarterbacks expendable. And here was Joshua Dobbs. So he'll go to Minnesota. Um, and it says here, according to Kevin Seifert of ESPN, um, Jaron Hall will be the starter for at least 1 week, and acquiring Joshua Dobbs to be his backup. So little by little, we're going to see probably Carson Dobbs will get Joshua Dobbs will get the job eventually, unless Jaron Hall lights it up next weekend. So, um, but like I said here, Jonathan Gannon announced on Monday that Dobbs would not be starting the Sunday's game against Cleveland. Source told ESPN's Adam Schefter that Arizona is planning to start rookie Clayton Tune. Gannon, however, said Monday there's a chance Murray could start as it continues to ramp up his return from ACL surgery. Um, so keep that in mind if you got Kyler Murray on your fantasy teams. I don't need him, but we'll see what is up with that. Gerald Contreras, welcome in. Hope you're having a good night there, where you are. Um, and then the big trade that came down today. Let me find the correct tab. If you saw all the tabs I had right now, you'd be like, yeah, that's your ADD mind, Joe. Chase Young got traded from the Commanders to the 49ers for a third round pick. Great move for San Francisco to solidify the defense even more. Once again, another expiring contract that Washington's giving up. Washington declined to pick up the fifth-year option on Chase Young. Um, San Francisco's on a 3-game losing streak now, and this is a nice move that they made, and hopefully we'll get to see. We'll see what he can do there, and we'll see um, how much he improves that defense that doesn't really need improving. Um, you know, I mean, you know, some people say, "Oh, Joe, what about the, um, you know, what about Cincinnati giving up scoring 31 points on San Francisco?" Those things happen from time to time, and they, it's just a couple of mistakes um, by their quarterback, Brock Purdy. I don't know why that name escaped me, but just give it a little time. And, Brock Purdy's facing the first real test of his career so far, having lost 3 games. And, I mean, they've had injuries on the offensive side. Uh, McCaffrey had been injured on and off. Deebo Samuel's been hurt on and off. So be interesting to see what San Francisco does. And remember, San Francisco comes to Philly in December. October. Yeah, you can tell. It must be the shirt. I don't know. But anyways, beginning of December, San Francisco comes here, and San Francisco is the type of team that will come east, and the cold won't bother them one bit. So those that are going to say in December, "Oh, it's cold. San Francisco can't win here." Yeah, they can, but I'll give you other reasons why they don't. But uh, great, great job there by San Francisco, solidifying their defense even more. And they're going to be a tough out this year, even if Brock Purdy if he does continue to struggle, or he does even um, does get back on track after a 3-game losing streak. One other thing I do want to mention here, and it's not trade related, but it is an interesting story that popped up, and it popped up over the weekend, and that is, let me get rid of that tab. The University of Houston season-opening throwback uniforms that evoke memories of the old Houston Oilers were widely popular among players and fans, but not the NFL. And that is because the NFL has issued a cease and desist on the team to stop using the Oilers uniforms. And as you can see there in that picture, and it's probably a little small for you guys, and I do apologize. Actually, you know what? Let me do something here for you guys. There we go. We made it a little larger there for you. Now, they did take some liberties in changing it around, and obviously you don't have the Oilers logo on there, but I think it says Houston on the helmet. It says Houston there, but you can tell it's a spitting image of the other uniforms. And um, you know, Tennessee Oilers. They were the Tennessee Oilers for 2 seasons before becoming the Titans, but they retained the rights to the Oilers trademarks. Um, Titans wore the Oiler throwbacks, which were a source of bitterness to football fans in Houston. Um, Now, the cease and desist that I mentioned, sent from the NFL to the University of Houston, was first reported by Houston Chronicle, which obtained a letter from an attorney for the NFL via an open records request. Um, According to Chronicle, the letter said Houston's blatant copying of the Oilers jerseys were grounds for legal action, and it demanded University discontinue any sales of merchandise and remove any promotional or social media posts that featured the imagery. Um, the university did not attempt to market the uniforms, which were revealed in a video narrated by Carl Lewis. Uh, Bryce, which is also in Houston, they wore similar uniforms on September 30th, but they had not heard from the NFL as of yet. But I think it's Houston is, you know, the stronger of the two teams with Rice, so it was more visible because Rice is in the Big 12 as well, aren't they? Rice is in the AAC. So Houston's a little more visible, so that's probably why the NFL went after them. And it is weird seeing in Tennessee those uniforms, but I'll tell you what. And I said this on Facebook when I saw this story the other day. And if they're going after Houston, now granted, the difference is the Houston Cougars are on TV, and I could see, part of the copyright infringement is cease and desist, or the confusion that would be involved with fans and all that. I think what could happen, and this may be because more and more you see high school games on ESPN, ESPN2, ESPNU, ESPN8, the Ocho. I will not be surprised if some high schools are told, hey, you can't use that logo anymore. If they're doing it to the University of Houston that's not using the logo, but using a uniform that's similar, could they go after teams that are using those logos in high school, especially those top-notch schools that end up playing nationally televised games? Now, my high school, St. Joe's Prep. Now, I don't think that logo that they have on the helmet resembles anything that comes up as that, but I would be interested in seeing if this has a ripple effect going even into the high schools, because you know, I mean, because high schools are a little more blatant, and then you get into those Pee Wee teams or whatever you call them, Pop Warner, Pee Wee, what I'm talking about. They use it there as well. I don't think they would really go after them if they really needed to, but the more you see them on TV, especially in high school, because ESPN's going to be used as a recruiting tool for these schools, and St. Joe's Prep is the top team in Pennsylvania, even though the Prep doesn't have logos that resemble, but you can go after certain schools, even at the high school level, that are doing something similar. So, be interesting to see. And I'm just, I mean, I understand why, but it's like, is it really the same in a way it is with the picture? But I don't know. But, anyways, update on the game. And not much of a game in Arizona. 10-1 Texas after five. And yeah, unfortunately, um, Texas is winning in a blowout. I was hoping for a closer game there. It's just, if I had something to use later on, but it'd be interesting to see because it looks like the Texas may do to Arizona what I predicted with the Phillies, which was winning in 5 games. And, and a lot of people are saying, "Oh, I can't watch this game." And Game 1 of the World Series was actually the lowest rated game in Major League history. And you could say, "Oh, it's two teams, and it's the way that the way baseball has been um, marketed year over year for the last 20, 30 years." Also, remember back when they were getting the highest ratings on TV, there were only 3 networks. Now, granted, you did have a couple independent channels back in the 70s and 80s when I was growing up, but when you start now, you have 5 or 6 networks, and then you have all these cable channels, which has led to all these streaming networks. Nobody wants to watch baseball anymore. Now, granted, you do have attendance up this year because of these pace of play rules that have actually helped the game. And you needed a whole season. We needed to see this in action. The players have gotten used to it, and especially the fact that you have these players who that came up recently within the last couple of years in the minors. They've been used to this. It's those older players like a Max Scherzer who, when he was playing, before he like even in spring training, he was trying to do different things, and it's made forced Major League Baseball to say, okay, well, make sure the batter's looking at you before you pitch. But you got all different things here, and I'm interested in seeing what happens with this series. And you know, I mean, it's almost like, in a way, I'm also glad that the Phillies are not in the World Series because this is probably what the Phillies be getting right now. But also remember, Arizona used an opener tonight, and that did not go well. Manaply got hit around a little bit, and then a couple of their other relievers that are not the top-notch relievers that shut down the Phillies time and time again in Game 6 and 7. Um, you know they, you know they, the opener did not work well for them, and now they got to scramble back and try to win 3 games in a row to win this World Series. But it's looking more and more like it's going to be Texas, and in a way, I'm happy that it's going to be Texas because Jerry Jones is very jealous of the Texas Rangers winning a title across the parking lot for Jerry World. He did say something about that. I don't know what he said exactly, but he is jealous of the success that the Texas Rangers had, and it's a little fun thing that I'm happy. We're probably going to get a first time winner, but you know, right now it's all Texas 10-1 going into the bottom of the 6th here, and we'll see. Um, but going to give you um, going to give you some updates here. First of all, Thursday show is going to be dedicated to the Breeders' Cup. Um, I'm going to give some picks along the way. I still got some things I want to. I still have to look at the programs. I ended up getting the pre-entry the pre-entry program. Looked at it a little bit, but not enough to give you any picks. But um, I'll give you some updates on that. And yeah, I mean, I'm a little disappointed that Arcangelo was scratched today from the uh, from the field for the Breeders' Cup Classic and has been retired. Now, from what I understand, the injury was when he was in his stall at Santa Anita, and and like I always say, if I am wrong, okay. From what I understood, and there may be more to this from what I've seen, and of course, I had TVG. I'm sorry, FanDuel TV, the artist formerly known as TVG. Um, I did see that Jenna Antonucci did have an interview today with one of the one of the announcers on there, and of course, because I was working, I didn't get to hear it. And I don't DVR the races, only because it'd be like I'd be wasting space on my DVR. Um, but unfortunately, they did have to scratch him. He did have a hoof issue, and from what I understand, it was at least what they were saying in the media a couple of days ago. He was not happy in his stall at Santa Anita, and he kicked the back wall or something. And if I'm wrong, then so be it. But unfortunately, he was scratched, and he is out. Um, Go Rocket Ride, who had a possibility of a chance of doing well in the Classic. He was pulled before the entries were taken because he had a devastating leg injury. From what I saw um, as of earlier today, um, Go Rocket Ride had surgery to repair a displaced condylar fracture on Sunday. It's a repetitive strain injury that results in a fracture to the cannon bone above the fetlock to large loads transmitted during high-speed workouts. And I feel bad for those connections too, because that was definitely something um, that was definitely something I saw last week. I was like, oh no, and I don't like any horse going down, and we'll see what happens with that. And I'm going to bring in Gerald Contreras, and he knocked. He is one of the horse racing guys that I enjoy talking horses with, and I will bring him in now.
Hey there.
Hey, Gerald, how are you?
I'm good. I don't have my camera, so you won't be able to see me. I'm
Not a
kind of
problem.
I'm transitioning into my Breeders' Cup weekend room. So
Okay,
everywhere, and I was looking just for the camera. I said, I'll screw it. I'll just pipe in for a few minutes. Since you're
perfectly fine.
a little Breeders' Cup. I'm actually going over the Breeders' Cup Friday card right now, and I think there's some good betting opportunities on Friday. Normally, I bet light on Friday just to kind of warm up, and if I hit something big, then I go in a little bit heavier
Yeah,
on the later races Friday, concentrate more on Saturday. But I do like the races on Friday, the juvenile races. The what do they call it? The Stars, Future Stars Day,
yeah,
whatever they call it.
yeah.
But yeah, so I'm excited. I'm glad you were. I know you talk horses once in a while, but yeah, there's some good races on Friday. So hopefully, I don't know if you're going to cover any of that on Thursday, but
Yeah, I definitely will. I'm going to somehow fit 14 races into 2 to 3 hours because like I say to everybody, if you miss this show live, you can watch it on you can watch it here on No Filter on demand, and now you can watch me on YouTube at the Philly Guys YouTube.com/ at the Philly Guy Speaks, and also my podcast Philly Guy Speaks. I put this all in audio form as well, so there's all different ways that everyone can listen to this, listen or view this show and podcast. So I admit I have not looked at any of the races here. I'm just getting a feel for everything right now. And
It's probably best. You can
yeah,
overwhelm yourself. I know normally, I didn't do it last year. I stopped last year, but before last year, I would take a week off from work and just go over everything, watch replays, and kind of rank my horses, which you kind of have to do because it's
yeah,
really hard to do in the 25 minutes that you have between races. You have to come in somewhat prepared, but I don't do that crash course weak stuff that I used to do. I'm going into a little bit more cold, which I like. I did that last year. It worked out pretty good. But I'm just starting to look at the Friday card. I just finished actually the Friday card. I like what I see. I'll probably go over the Saturday card in the next 2 days. Um, we did a show actually last year, or the last couple of years. I think we've done the full show, all races live. In Saturday was 2 3 hour segments. And that was a lot of fun, but I didn't have as much luck as I was wanting. I was kind of swinging more for the fence, which I'm going to kind of do again this year. But I think I have a better shot of hitting, some bigger
yeah,
tries or supers. So
yeah, yeah. And I'm
uh,
going to look at it, and I'm probably this year I'm going to be playing a lot of win wagers and just that, but also um, the Sport of Kings website. I actually did qualify last minute for the um, for the finals for their summer contest. Um, Barely somehow because I guess a lot of people above me were already qualified for the event for the final. So hopefully I can get some winners in there, and who knows, maybe stars align. I hit a couple of 20 to 1 bombs that the cap limit, and who knows, maybe I get a trip to Vegas out of it. But
oh yeah, sure. Well, I mean, you swing for the fence in these kind of races because there's so many good horses and so many people don't know anything about some of these.
yeah,
They're more concentrated on their locally based horses, and a lot of horses sneak by. And there's always some big log shots. But win bets are not a bad way to go. I've never criticized anybody's type of betting on BC Day. I will say that if you are doing more win bets, I don't know what sites you participate on wagering wise, but for me, I do express bet, TVG, Twin Spires, and Naira bets. And I think almost all of them are offering uh $10, what they call it, a money back special if
yes,
the horse you pick to win comes in third. So what I usually do is I maximize I'll use at least three of those and I'll take
yeah,
three shots. I might get my money back on one or two, or maybe all three, or I'll hit it. So
yeah,
try and use that whenever you can. I always encourage people to use those promotions. They haven't offered any deposit specials right now, but sometimes they do that through the week of. But yeah, when I will be playing the money back specials as well on the side, the $10 win
yeah.
bets.
Yeah, and I think I might be doing. I know Twin Spires is because that's my main account that I use now. Matter of fact, money back for second and third. Let me just so that if anybody's listening to this, um, uh,
Express Bet has money backs for second and third, and TVG, I'm
yeah,
almost positive before the end of the week they will say we're doing it as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
So
So
yeah, just keep that in mind. I always tell people take advantage of these promotions. It's almost like a little free $10 bet if your horse
exactly.
gets in third,
Yeah,
even if it doesn't win. But yeah, no, I'm excited. It's a fun time of year. There's some real opportunities to make money on these races that have a lot of euros because people just don't follow those races, as I
yeah,
don't either. But
yeah,
I do have some tendencies. I've kept a lot of stats over the years, And for example, the last race on Friday, I just happen to have that in front of me. The Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. That one, man, you got to go with an Aidan O'Brien trained horse with Frankie Dettori or Ryan Moore. That's like automatic right there. Use those two, wherever they're at on top or in the top three. Um, yeah, I got a bunch of stats that really point me in the right direction. So it helps me narrow down my picks at the end of the day, which makes it easy because sometimes they have 14 entries in a race, and that's
Yeah.
tough.
Yeah, and you can get any. I mean, horses that you normally would get at 3 to 1 are probably going to be 12 to 15 to 1. It's just, I mean, it's crazy because all the money that goes in, and then on top of that, so much talent in these races that you can get some major overlays.
Yeah, in fact, that race I was just talking about, the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. I think there's going to be a trend breaker in that. I think it's going to be the 9 Endlessly. Normally, this race is not California based friendly for exactas. And I think because of that, you're going to get a good price on Endlessly. The number 9 is going to have Juan Hernandez aboard. It's a Mike McCarthy trained horse. That's kind of going to be one of my upset angles for that one. But I will be using River Tiber with Ryan Moore and Unquestionable with Frankie Dettori board. I actually like Unquestionable. You're going to get better odds on Unquestionable. So those three right there are going to be my top 3 picks. Um, excited. I'm excited.
Yeah.
This time of year always gets me pumped up.
Yeah, and I mean, this is one of the weekends that I always look forward to. I mean, it's 5 weekends out of the year that I look forward to. The 3 Triple Crown races, because I'm in Philadelphia. The Pennsylvania Derby's big to me, and Breeders' Cup weekend. So five great dates, and unfortunately, the weather here was horrendous. I didn't even go. I didn't even make an attempt to go up there for the Pennsylvania Derby.
I remember that. I
I,
remember that.
I wasn't even. I was like, the hat ain't worth it. I'll wait. I'll stay at home and play, which was a good.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Nick Severs and I are going to do a show for the Friday. I'll be up in Reno playing live
Okay.
on Saturday, so we probably won't have a Saturday show. It's kind of a long day anyway.
Yeah.
You have to schedule 2 shows. You got to go to the restroom. You got to eat. And so we'll probably just do a Friday show and we'll take a swing. So pop in if you get a chance. I think
Okay.
the first Breeders' Cup race is, I think
About
around
5 Eastern.
no, the first one is yeah, it might be around 2. It could be because there's only 5 races.
Yeah.
So it's yeah, I bet it's around 1 or 2. But yeah, 2 Eastern sounds about right. 11 o'clock.
Yeah. Because I mean, I'll
Oh, I got it
watch.
right here. Yeah,
Go
2
ahead.
Eastern. You're right.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm probably going to watch those races on Friday that are not Breeders' Cup related, just to get, just to see if there's any type of a speed bias, or any
Sure.
biases in the track, just to catch that. And if I have a little bit of extra money, maybe I play a race or two just to warm up. But those 14 races are the 14 I'm going to focus in on all weekend.
Yeah, the daily doubles and the pick threes in these races, especially the undercard races leading into the Breeders' Cup races, are really good bets. Those pick threes that start off with an undercard or two undercards and a Breeders', they play really really well. So
Yeah.
we should be on here on Friday. By it looks like I think it's 2 Pacific actually. That doesn't sound right.
Let me double check it for you.
Oh, it is because it says because the first race is at 2 Eastern and the last race is 4:40 Eastern. So yeah, it goes into 7:40 at night. It's kind of strange. It seems like it
Uh,
would be dark.
First race is 5 o'clock Eastern, which would be 2 Pacific.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
And
5 o'clock. Yeah,
yeah,
two. Oh yeah, I had these backwards.
okay,
2 p.m. Pacific to 4:40 p.m. Pacific. So yeah, we'll be on from 2 to 5 on Friday.
okay.
Sorry, I got
And
those backwards.
I
And
will.
yeah, good luck. Hopefully, I'm not sure we're going to do a preview show. We'll probably kind of just talk about everything before each race. But pop in if you get a chance. I haven't scheduled it, but I'm sure Nick will want to do it.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the schedule here. 5 o'clock. The second race. Well, the sixth race of the day. The second Breeders' Cup race is the Juvenile Fillies. That is at 5:40 Eastern, 2:40 Pacific. I believe because I'm working on Friday, um, but I work from home, so that's a good thing. So I can actually sneak away that half an hour and jump in and talk to you guys and give you my thoughts on that race and anything else that comes to mind in that half hour period. Because at 5:45 I gotta go back to work. At least I
Yeah,
think.
that race actually, that sixth race, the Juvenile Phillies, that tends to be kind of an upset race. So that
Yeah,
is another good betting race. Again, like I said, I'll go over some trends if you happen to pop in, just to kind
yeah.
of give you some facts that I've been keeping over the last 23 years.
Yeah, and I will join you. And yeah, because I work from home, so it's not a big deal. I might have a different camera view because I'll be sitting where my workstation is. But I'll hop on, and even when I go back to work, I'll keep you guys on. And I think the last race is right at 7:15.
The last race is at 7:40 your time.
Okay. Okay. Yes, I would have a 15-minute window from 7:15 to 7:30, I believe. I don't know my breaks off the top of my head, but I haven't
Yeah,
written
no
down.
problem.
Yeah.
If you get in,
So
you get in. If not, no big deal.
yeah,
I just thought I'd chime in, let you know what we had going on,
yeah,
and more than willing to share our info with you and hear your thoughts on anything. That's how you learn in this game is you
exactly.
bounce stuff off of other people. Maybe you don't see something that they do, and it kind of opens your eyes. And even if it doesn't win, it just kind of opens your eyes to another angle. That's why Nick and I. That's why I really encourage Nick. Hey, Nick, I want to hear what your thoughts. Don't agree with me every time, or just give me your true thoughts. I want to hear what you think. If you totally disagree, let me know. Let me know why, and then we see what happens, and then we go back over it and say, okay, you were right, or I was right, and that's how you learn in this game.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm still learning 30 years after I made my first wager. So and
Same here. I still
yeah,
consider myself a novice,
yeah.
but you know what? Nick and I, we picked just as many winners as the professionals on
Hmm.
the NBC broadcast. I'm telling you, I'm not convinced anybody is any better or any worse. Anybody can give me their opinion, and I'd say, okay, I would never criticize it because I've seen the craziest outcomes happen. I mean,
Yeah.
you just don't know. It's more. It's about 40% skill and 60% luck, and that's
Yeah.
what I love about it because
Yeah.
that's why it pays.
Yeah. And the reason why I I love horse racing is because I look at it as one big puzzle. That's what I look at it as.
Yeah, yeah, and I like it because you're not really going against the house. The house is taking their takeout. You're really going against other players, and that's
Exactly.
what I like about it.
Yeah.
Great. All right. Well, maybe
Okay.
we'll see you this weekend. Good luck if you're playing, and anybody else, good luck out there. It's always a fun time of year for horse bettors,
Yeah.
and
And
I love popping into your show whenever I get a chance.
thank you. Thank you so much for joining me tonight, Gerald.
No problem.
Have a great night.
You too.
Gerald Contreras, everybody. Keep an eye on the main page of No Filter and check his check out his show on Friday if they create that show. And one thing I will tell you as well, even if it's not Breeders' Cup related or anything like that, he's got some great horse racing shows. Check him out on the No Filter page and bring some great information there. And brought some great information already with the Aidan O'Brien trained horses, Frankie Dettori and Ryan Moore, who are European jockeys. Well, Dettori is now finishing up his career in the United States, but he's well known for being a legend in the international circuit. Um, the 9 horse endlessly, the fact that the The race is not California based friendly, um, or that race, and also keep an eye on River Tiber and Unquestionable. You know, great information there, and check out his show on Friday. And I will make my Thursday show centric to the Breeders' Cup as well. I'll try to fit as many races as I can here on Thursday night. It may be a full 3 hour show. So if you're listening to this after the fact, uh, if you're going to listen to that show after the fact, I'll try to get that audio out as quickly as I can because there will be a lot of information there as well. So, but one other bit of information here, and another sad story here is that Practical Move, who was the second choice in the dirt mile, um, he had a cardiac event and passed away. Um, you know, you know, and it's just a sad thing to see there, and hopefully, um, we'll see what happens because now with Heist and everything, they investigate everything, and we'll it's just sad. He won 5 of 8 races, won $923,000. Um, he raced in Santa Anita on October 6th and was trained by Tim Yakteen. So um, sad. I mean, any horse that goes down, I don't care if it's a bottom claimer running on a Tuesday at insert racetrack name here or whatever. It's a sad thing. So, um, you know, condolences to all the connections involved there as well. So, but like Gerald Contreras said, and I'm gonna hit this hard on Thursday as well. Check your betting platforms because Twin Spires will have it where if your horse finishes second or third, you'll get your money back up to $10. TVG will probably do the same thing, and FanDuel Racing, I think, is just a copycat of that. Um, I'm just taking a quick peek here for you guys. Um, and the one thing I have told you guys is, even though my dad will probably uh, get somebody to kick my ass, excuse my language, um, I have admitted that I am his enabler. And who knows, maybe. Okay, so the money back with the Breeders' Cup right now, the eligible races for the Breeders' Cup for TVG will be select races. The 5 races on Friday. You know what? Let me share the screen here. Make it so much easier so you can see the different things here. So let me share my screen here for you guys so you guys can see like different things that you can do here. And you know what? I'm going to go through 4 different sites here. What the heck with it? I'm gonna log in and everything. You didn't see my password. You just saw a bunch of dots. So there's what you see there after you log in. And yeah, I only got 13 cents in there. Don't laugh at me. For those that are watching after the fact. Basically, this account has been so I can watch the FanDuel Racing and FanDuel, the FanDuel channels on my TV in the bedroom. So there's your money back, and Twin Spires has it as well. It's just that they don't have it posted yet. But TVG, aka FanDuel, select races, you get up to $10 back. I usually go to $10 wager, and the running joke I have with my friends. And Gerald Contreras says, let everyone know you must opt in. Yeah, you do have to opt in. So you click on that. I'm not going to click on it yet because I don't know how much money is going to be in there or what I'm going to do. I might even commandeer my dad's account because he has a TVG account. Maybe I commandeer his, and I don't know, but whatever I do. Um, but whatever I do, at least TVG, they have the format down for the weekend. I'm not going to opt in yet, but you have to click on, the heck with it. I'm going to opt in. Okay. And you'll see it just changes to a blue button, which is bet now, which will lead you to nowhere because I don't think there is no betting on the races as of yet. Probably Thursday, you'll be able to start wagering on the Friday races, but the five, the five Breeders' Cup races on Friday, they're all available to you. And you see that they have selected the Filly Mare Turf, the Mile, the Classic, the Turf Sprint, and the Breeders' Cup Sprint. Now, for those, um, um, and I'll get to that in a second, Gerald. Um, also, remember that this year, because NBC has the rights to Big Ten football in prime time, that's why the Breeders' Cup Classic is not the last race this year. That's why you have the ninth race being the Classic, the 10th race being the Turf Sprint, the 11th race is the Sprint, and actually I believe there's a 12th race, which is actually a non-Breeders' Cup race, which ends the day. So you do have always keep an eye at your promotions tabs. And what Gerald also wanted to remind you that, usually these money back promotions, TVG has them every weekend. There is a minimum amount of horses that have to be in the field. With TVG, here it is. Money back for third place is not available in races with less than 8 betting interests. Races must have 6 or more betting interests for money back for second place. And since it's going to be a busy day, allow up to 2 hours for the promotional payouts. But I've seen the email come back in there, boom, within 10 minutes tops. Express bet, every single race on the card is a money back special. Now, if I share the Twin Spires page, and I am going to share that. Once again, you can't see my password, haha. Now, sometimes you get lucky and you have a promotion like this. Boom, it's right there, smacking you right in the face. Or sometimes sometimes what happens is let's say you're sitting there on a Monday or Tuesday, and you're like, yeah, I feel like playing the horses. Let me see the current offers. And sometimes you can, well, I'll get into that in a second. Actually, I don't think that's, okay. So it's all the Breeders' Cup races with Twin Spires, races 5 to 9, which is those 5 races I showed before. And you're going to get a couple additional races on Twin Spires as opposed to TVG. And they give you all the terms and conditions there. Maximum refund is $10 if your selection runs second, and $10 if your selection runs for third, regardless of the amount wagered. Now, if you bet $5, you're going to get $5 back. But if you bet 20, you're going to get 10 back. But I'm the type of person where when I'm playing to win wagers, I'm playing $5 to win. I'll bump it up to 10 because I joke around when I say this, and it is true. I joked around and I hit a pick 4 at Churchill, and I go joking around to my dad. I told him, "Hey, Dad, I hit the pick 4, or no, I didn't hit the pick 4 because I didn't have that much money in my account because the $10 wagers kept hitting and hitting and hitting. I hit all 4 races ice cold. I would have had an ice cold pick 4 that would have paid like $700, but I didn't have much money in the account. So I said, "Hey, Dad, I suck at these money back wagers." He goes, "Why is that?" I said, "My horses keep winning." But that's the way it is here. And so if you're a Twin Spires bettor, it is $10 wagers. Um, and they credit within an hour. Um, the only thing is, I don't think, and I haven't played a money back wager on Twin Spires lately, but I don't know if they actually email you. I think you got to look at your bets wagered and go from there. So you do have to dig a little bit. But TVG, if that's your platform of choice, they actually send you an email that tells you that. And they also have, if we go back over here to the TVG page, um, they do have a notification, which is that envelope here, and they will tell you that on there too if you're not, if you don't have your email up on your computer, or you don't have your phone nearby, like maybe the case with me because I may be home on Saturday, I may be out, I may be up at parks, I may be wherever my buddy tells me, in case we do that. I don't know, but always keep an eye on that stuff. Let me check one other thing here. Um, I haven't used this account. I only got it so I can get the money back guarantee for the Preakness. Um, okay, so I also have an account with DK Horse, and it's basically the same format as Twin Spires. Right now, they don't have anything on there for the Breeders' Cup. I imagine there will be. It's just that this is it's more of a no frills account, and the one thing is they just it logs you out after like a half an hour, and then you can't get back in. But if you're on the app, you're fine. It's just that the website's a little hokey. Um, so you got that, and let me just check the one last thing here. Um, and these are these are the four different accounts that I have here. Um, there's an interesting thing here. Please verify you're human by holding the button down. Um, hmm, that's interesting. I have to check into this. Here, I'll share my screen on here. This is what I got when I logged into FanDuel Racing, and it is legal in Pennsylvania, but it says some states don't allow racing betting. If you think you're in a state that does, contact our support team. We found one error. You're near the border of an area which is where it's illegal to play. More location data can help you confirm you're in a permitted area. Enable high accuracy. Let me just check one thing here. Okay, my secure VPN is not on, so for some reason it's not picking me up in Pennsylvania. That's not anything too bad, but um, um, okay, with FanDuel Racing, let me share my screen there. And just to give you guys different things here to look at here. Oops, wrong window. There we go. Now for FanDuel, all races from the second to the fourth are win wagers, up to $10. So $10 is the magic number. So it's up to $10. You can bet more if you want, but you're only going to get $10 back. So just to let you guys know. And you see the terms and conditions as well. 8 or more for a third place when for a third place payout. 6 or more for a second. If there's less than 6, it's ineligible. It's issued as a non-withdrawable racing only credit. That's good to know. And for some reason, I am restricted for some reason. Uh, and I know my VPN does come up as Pennsylvania because when I go here, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, it's not my zip code, but whatever. And yeah, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, yeah, whatever. I probably shouldn't have showed you my IP address, but and like Gerald said, sometimes they rule you out by accident. So, even if it is FanDuel, if it is Naira Bets, whatever it is, um, you know, it's good to do these things now when you have 4 or 5 days before the big races, so that you don't you don't have anything shocking you when could be anything else. Because the one thing that's weird is I am in Pennsylvania. Like for example, and I had this with Duncan Dad when he was texting me uh, Kentucky Derby Day. He goes, where do I sign up? I'm like, well, he wanted to sign up for TVG. I said, well, if you're in New Jersey, you gotta wait. You gotta register at 4NJ Bets because in the state of New Jersey, you can only bet on 4NJ Bets for horse racing online. So I did mention that to him. Um, it's always good to test things out well ahead of time. So now I find out about that. Now I don't know if it works on the app. Sometimes it works on the app and doesn't. Um, and also Pennsylvania is a weird state because I can't bet on quarter horses. I can't bet on Arabian horses. I can't bet on greyhounds. It's either thoroughbred or harness or nothing. So, just little quirks that you will see from time to time. Best to see them on a Tuesday when the big races start on Friday. And I'm glad I had that issue because guess what? You're now aware of it. So, and you got to see some of the different promos that they have right now. Now, mind you, none of them are sponsors. If they want to sponsor me, hey, hit me up. Uh, at Joe Quills on Twitter. And you know, you see the different things that they have going on. And I'm not going to tell you, oh, you must go to TVG, you must go to Twin Spires, you must go here, you must go there. You have your reasons for it. Now, I did give DK Horse a little bit of shade there. Okay. I mean, I only have the account in the case of an emergency. Like, I had to use the DK Horse account because I was confusing my dad's wagers with mine. And then after a while, it's just like, screw it. I'll just print it up after the fact and figure it out later. But, um, but yeah, it's, always check ahead of time. And also, I would say if you're betting on Friday, especially if you get paid on Friday, me, I get paid on Friday. Put that deposit in early. Now, thankfully for us on the East Coast, the first race isn't until 5 o'clock. So I can put it in about 12. Boom, I'm set for the day. And hopefully set for the weekend. Set yourself up, be ready to go, be ready to fire. And like I always tell you guys, whether it's giving you NFL picks or giving you horse racing picks, always bet within your means. Okay. And also remember, any picks that I give you are free. So don't come running to me. Oh, you told me this horse was going to win. Time out. Did you pay for my picks? No. Just remember, I'm doing this all in fun. And if it leads to something, it leads to something. But, and, like Gerald said about they rule you out by accident. It happens. and I could hit that later on and be fine. So it's just it may be because I logged into TVG and all that. I don't know, but either way, check everything out and make sure you're ready to go on Friday, and we'll get everything. We'll start getting the picks ready to go. We'll start at 9:15 on Thursday, and 9:15. Yeah, okay. I thought I said something else, but 9:15. We'll try to make it 9:15 sharp, not 9:18, not 9:19 like I did today, and I'll give you some picks for the weekend, and if I had time, I'll even give you some football picks. See if you want to fade my picks because 2 weeks ago was a great week. Last weekend was a horrible week, so it happens. And just remember, the picks are free. It's all in good fun, and it just happened I had a bad week. So thank you to Gerald for joining me tonight, and check out his show on Friday if he posts it. And he's got some great information on there, and great concept, great way to talk horses with him. So I'm going to call it a night. Gerald, thanks again for joining me tonight, and also thank you for the downloads, the views, and all that. Appreciate everybody that takes the time. And I even had a hit from the Ivory Coast last week on my podcast. So, I'm not into numbers. I'm more into the hits of where they're getting hit. So, anything new, welcome aboard, and hope you came back and hope you enjoy all my future shows. So, Gerald, once again, thank you, and thank you all for watching after the fact and listening after the fact. Check me on nofilter.net at 9:15 p.m. Eastern. Also, check out bleacherbrothers.com for all your sports needs. I'm going to post something on there as well between now and Friday morning. So take a look on that as well. So have a great night, everybody. And we will catch you Thursday night at 9:15 here on nofilter.net. Check me out on Twitter at Joe Quills. Good night, everybody.